You better clarify what rainbow is because you will sound pretty hippie, you know.
I'm on the rainbow. Yeah. That girl, I don't know about her. She's pretty crunchy. So let's get started. So thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. This is our second interview or podcast, if you want to call it that. The first time I really wanted to get to know you. I knew that the audience was going to want to know who you were because I've actually had questions of who is this guy, and that's just a natural inclination that people want to know is who's doing this and what are they about. And so we kind of got your history, and we got the history of your name and how you got involved with Zencleanz. So just refreshing your memory a little bit, we had a really nice long conversation about you. And I know you're in Bali right now, right? Is that where you've set up your home there right now? Okay, Bali, yeah.
Yes.
I heard it's beautiful.
Yes, Bali is amazing. Yes.
Maddie said you have really done a great little outside area there in your home. You've made it really nice and quaint. So
yeah, I need it after 12 years in China. And even if I was living in a remote area in China, you still like it's a noisy place. You know, there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm Canadian, and I lived in the forest in Canada, and yeah, I just needed some quiet. I needed to hear the frogs. I needed to hear the crickets and the cicada in the morning, and so that's what I looked for when I came back to Bali, because I lived here before. I lived 7 years here before.
So when I had some communication with you between our first meetup and this meetup, you had suggested, or actually, no, it was actually at the end of the first conversation we had, you said, we'll talk about the enzymes, the actual enzymes and how they work in the body, because we really didn't get into a whole lot of that. So that's what I was hoping to do today. I do have more experience with them now. I'm on my third, what you call the Rainbow Cleanse. It's a week-long program, cleansing program. So I'm actually in the middle of that right now. So I have a little bit more experience with it, but I'm still always interested, and I know a lot of my audience would be too interested to learn about enzymes. And everybody has the same question to me: how are these enzymes different? You know, there's a price point, obviously, that's more than what people think it should be or think is reasonable, and so we want to know what's special. Why enzymes? You know, we talked a little bit about the enzyme function in the body last time, but we can go a lot deeper in that. Whatever you want to say, you know, and I do want to talk about a little bit how the different cleanses that you offered, why they're different. Well, what different processes do they have? I know they're all systemic, but they all focus on a different area. So maybe we can just start with enzymes. Give us a
well, enzymes are not all equal. Okay, you can have like what we talk when we look at what's offered nowadays. There's the enzymes you can get, you know, for $20 over the counter in the natural food store, and you need to. And most of the time, it's only one or two ingredient. Most of the time is pineapple or bromelain, and papaya, papain, you know. So, and this is digestive aid, and from the fruit to the shelf is 2 months. Okay, this is the average. What we offer is another story completely. It's 3-year process, 3 years of fermentation. So it really refines the enzyme and transform them into systemic enzyme, which means that they penetrate the system. They just don't work only only in the digestive tract, but they penetrate the bloodstream. So, and enzymes, if we describe them, because the body produces enzymes, right? And this is what breaks down the food into nutrients, because no food can be absorbed into the bloodstream without being broken down. So what they do, it's like I like to describe them as little Pac-Mans, because when we talk about digestion for the body, it includes the detox. It includes the digestion of what got stuck on the walls of your liver, on the walls of your blood vessels, on the walls of the tissues, all over. Because over the years, over decades of living, simply living, that we live healthy lifestyle or not, healthy lifestyle will be a slower process, but still, um, fire creates ashes. So there's always like deposits happening, and it ends up clogging the system. Well, the liver is a filter, the lymphatic system is a filter, the kidneys are filters. So all this, after years and decades of filtering, they get clogged. So, like any machines, it requires cleansing, and the enzymes. That's what they do. Actually, uh, they they clean, and they can also repair. And since they are made of plants, five kinds of plants that we ferment over 152 plants. That's vegetable, fruits, mushroom, herbs, and seaweed. So all these have nutritional benefits and healing compounds also. So that makes all those nutrients and healing compounds 100% bioavailable, because they don't require any digestion to be absorbed. They go straight into the bloodstream. So that's what makes it so powerful. Because even if your system is completely exhausted, or you don't have any power um, to break your nutrient down, well, the enzyme are already broken down just by the process they go through. So that's what, to answer your first question, what are enzymes? This is what it is, and the fact that, okay, we created a system that we call the 5 element detox and rejuvenation system, uh, because actually there's a big hype, I would say, at the moment, that everything is related to the gut. All your health, if the gut doesn't is not healthy, your whole health, physical and mental health, will be affected. And it is true, but it is not the whole truth. If we want to be healthy, it's like we need all the organs to be clean,
Right.
because they all
Right.
complementary functions. They all play a complementary function. So if you only have like a clean gut, but you have like filthy liver, filthy kidney, and a clogged lymphatic system, uh, you will not experience the full enjoyment of a good health, right? So we created a system where we address every single organs. And the way we do it, because enzymes are enzymes, what we do is like, we we selected like specific plants, because all the enzyme will penetrate the bloodstream, but specific plants will act more specifically into a system. Okay, it doesn't mean like they will not have any effect on the other system, because some
Right.
people play, like do the intestinal cleanse, for example, and they have like liver symptoms. There's some compounds and some ingredient that also act in the liver, and some people even will have like kidney stones that start to be released by doing a liver cleanse, for example. Okay, because
Mm.
the nature, we cannot say, okay, you, this plant, don't go work there, because people didn't pay for that,
Right.
right? So this is not how it works.
Right.
So what we do,
So
though, for
Mhm.
specific products to act, we will have a more precise selection of ingredient to be active in that specific area.
Mhm. I think where the reasoning and the emphasis on the gut health is, I agree with you. It's there's a lot more to it, and it's not the gut isn't necessarily overly stated in my opinion. It's just that I think I think what we're coming to understand is it starts there, and even in your cleanses, the order of operations, if you will, it starts with the gut. Ideally, you can start with the liver in certain conditions, but it starts with the gut because you
Hmm.
have your gatekeepers along the way. Like when you're eating food, and you have all your gatekeepers in your body systems, how they work. Um, it's going to go through your liver first, and it's going to be filtered through your kidneys next, and all that. And so it makes sense to start upstream and cleanse those systems out, because if you're starting with the downstream, well, you're still shoving stuff into that and toxins into that. And so that's the reasoning, in my understanding, it makes sense that you start ideally with that, so that you're delivering less toxic matter to the rest of the body's systems that are meant to go in a kind of an order. So even though the enzymes will work systemically, to have that focus on, especially the one cleanse is super focused on the whole the intestinal tract, to have that it's still obviously going to go other places, but so I've only experienced the one cleanse, which is the intestinal and the liver cleanse, and I've always done the rainbow because it makes sense to me to do that. And I think the shipping is free, and so you get all these nice enzymes for a week. Oh, and I've done the lung. I forgot about the lung. I did the lung one too. So looking forward to doing the rest, but. So let's go back. I want to talk about enzymes just a little bit more. So enzymes like run your body, right? Those are like the little, that's like your fire, right? Your little spark, you call it the spark plug or the spark. And so
Hmm.
enzymes are not just, I just want to highlight this because I think it was glossed over and I want people to understand this. Enzymes are not just digestive enzymes. So you have your source enzymes. So you have your things that are ready to do their job. They're waiting for their label. And digestion is only one of the things it does. So enzymes do everything. Anything that's going to be done in your body, there has to be an enzyme involved. Is that you're nodding? So I'm on track. So that's why it's important to have your body make enzymes, but also to supplement that if you can do that, because that will slow down over time. And do you want to speak about just how I have a very rudimentary understanding of actually of enzymes. I know that minerals are important to actually make enzymes, but maybe you could talk a little bit more about what enzymes do in the body besides digest the food and break down the food, and how that's important. But what about what else? Like for instance, let me just sorry, this is a long question. So you have your cleanses that are lung and kidney and all that. So obviously there's enzymes in there, right? They can clean it out, but also those systems need enzymes. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. This is the spark plug of life. That means no enzyme, no life. No matter how many vitamins, no matter how many minerals you have, with no enzyme, the you're flat.
Yeah.
It's over. So, but there's different kinds of enzymes. There's the metabolic enzymes. So, to think, to make my heart beat, to make my lungs breathe, to make my fingers moving, my thinking. These are all triggered or fired up by metabolic enzymes. Okay, digestion, as I mentioned before, digestive enzymes play a role for the breaking down of the food and the detox processes of the body. So nowadays, one of the worst thing I would say, even overeating badly, even overeating badly, is
Mm.
overeating.
Yeah.
Okay, and this we all mostly know what this is, and like if we go back in time, that was not an easy thing to do in the past when you had to
Yeah.
grow your things and hunt your things. You know, it was like right now we're accessing so much food that pretty much everyone knows what I'm talking about overeating.
Hmm.
And we eat 3 meals a day, and we sit in an office, and we don't exercise. So we eat like construction guys, and we work in an office. You know, so
Yeah.
that leads to that asks the body's enzyme so much. You know, it keeps. You know, it's not finishing. It did not finish to digest the breakfast, and then okay, there's a break or there's the lunchtime coming, and then did not finish digesting the breakfast yet because I've been sitting in an office all day, and then the dinner comes, and I snack in front of the TV. You know, it's like we're killing ourselves. It's like literally
Yeah.
we're clogging our system this way. So so as you mentioned, we have source enzyme, and the source enzyme is kind of our bank account that doesn't is not invested in any direction. But now by overeating, all our investment go on digesting because this is an emergency for the body. Cannot say, oh, I will digest later. I have you know, I have something to think
Yeah.
about. I need a clear mind. I need no. This is not an emergency. Okay, even if it's a very important job that I have to do, if I have something to digest, it will go there first. If I don't have enough, so what's happening is like, and most
Mm.
people will know what I mean, especially if they're over 40. At some point in our life, we start eating, and then suddenly we get
Hmm.
tired. We get it's like, so that means like, okay, there's a demand for digestion, but there's not enough for the metabolic functions.
Hmm.
Huh? So I will brain fog. I will not be able to think clearly. I will not remember. Or I will not feel like excited about going out or moving or doing exercise. You know, I will just feel like resting and and chilling because I have no energy. My metabolic functions don't have enough fire to get triggered. Huh? So so when we understand that and we supplement, so that means like, okay, of course I can start. If I understand that, maybe I will change my dietary habit. Maybe I will not eat as much. But if I do and I supplement, then I give the work of digestion, the digestive task, to the supplemental enzymes. So so that means like right now it's like the body say, oh, well, I just ate, but oh, there's some help that just came.
Right.
And then that's why we start feeling our metabolic functions start to be fired up again. And I start feeling like I have more energy, more clarity. You know, it's that's the logic behind it by
Hmm.
supplementing. Hmm. And people
So
asking
the
me, should I take this the rest of my life? I would say, if you can, yes. If you can,
hmm
yes. It's like, it's not like you will, like, if you take, for example, uh, painkillers, like whatever, someone has a surgery or something, and then they're given like morphine or something like that. Uh, and then they take it for a while. What happens is like our personal glands start to slow down and stop functioning because we are taking artificial painkillers. So if we supplement with morphine, at some point our glands just atrophy, and then when we stop, the morphine, then we start having pain, and that's why it's so addictive. But this is not the case with enzyme, because we
Mhm.
still need the enzyme. It will be beneficial for our metabolic function. We kind of, that's why we say it's rejuvenating. We kind of walk back in time. We kind of start feeling an energy, a vitality that we oftentimes forgot, because it was like the energy we had like 20 years ago.
My idea is that what you were talking about with the digestion and how the body is going to send those source enzymes there first is the calorie restriction. People that that have been studied that do calorie restriction for years, decades, and how that is they have more longevity. Is that's really the reason why is because they end up with more metabolic enzymes. It's not being used up. So I think it's a good point that you made about overeating and how even if you're eating really good food, if you're still overeating,
Yeah.
it's you're kind of using that up, where it could be used otherwise. So,
Yeah.
and aging, I would guess is a lot to do with that too. Not having the metabolic enzymes, to do the repairs. Your
Yeah.
catabolism is slowly going like this as you get older, right? So you're not as anabolic. So how much more so if your enzymes are being depleted?
Years back, I started to discover like the superfood, the spirulina and the maca and all these superfood. And, I was like blending like smoothies with super rich, and I was doing this, and I was running on this all day. And at some point, I started to drink these superfood drinks, and like feeling like napping after, immediately afterwards. I say, what? I
Mhm.
just had superfood. I would be supposed to be kicking right now, but I just feel like napping, because actually, I was aging like everyone, and me overeating has been my my weakness, pretty much all my life. And so I exhausted the enzymes in my body. So as soon as I discovered the enzyme without knowing. But I discovered the enzymes, and I started reading about it. I said, let me try again these smoothies, and I started to put the liquid enzyme in my smoothies. This was over. I didn't have any
Oh wow,
problem anymore. I didn't feel like
really?
sleeping drinking it. I could take it, because everything was, by adding enzyme into my smoothie. I was like making all helping the breaking down of the food, and I was not asking anything from my body. Yeah.
So, okay, I'm glad you mentioned that because so you're the Zencleanz program. So you're based on cleansing. It's in different kits, but so you also have singles, or I don't know what you'd call them, but you also have enzymes that you can just buy and you can use as digestive aids, right? So that's what you're
Yeah.
describing, I guess.
This is maintenance.
So
We call it maintenance. Maintenance, because
maintenance.
we
Okay.
have the five elements. When we talk about the five elements, we talk about all the five main drainage pathways. So that there's, as you mentioned, if I explain to you the logic, is like the logic, we detox the same way we get intoxicated in the first place. If how did we get intoxicated in the first place? Is through the entrances. Yeah. So the mouth, the nose, and the skin. So these are the entrance points. So that means like on these, we have bacteria that covers our lungs, inside, and our gut, the digestive tract, and on the all the skin. These are interface between the exterior and the interior. That's why it's very important not to kill those bacteria, okay?
Hmm.
Because they are the one processing. We need those bacteria, so we need to stop sterilizing ourselves. Okay, that's one thing, very important. And so it like this, and then it penetrates the bloodstream. and then everything that is food or toxins, it follows the bloodstream, and it crosses three different filters in a certain order: liver, lymph, and kidneys. So this is the
Mhm.
logic. So these are, and to cleanse, what we need to achieve first is to clear those five pathways, because these are the ones who process all the toxins. If these ones are clear, don't worry for the rest. The body is designed to take care of
Right.
itself. So you just need to feed them, maintain your filters like a car. Huh? Oil filter,
Mhm.
hair filter, fuel filter. When you go and you change the oil, you put some good food in it, and then it goes well. This is the same thing for the body. So that's the logic behind it, and we always, you mentioned before, we always need to take care of the upstream, because if you
Okay.
okay if, of course, if there's an emergency, you have kidney stones or something, you would, okay, start immediately the kidney cleanse. But not only, if you want to do the good job and the whole job, so after that you just need to maintain the body. You do you take care of the upstream in the order that I mentioned before. The digestive system, liver, lymph, and the lung is just another entry, and it's really related to the environment, to where you live. If you're a smoker, if you live in Beijing, for example,
Yeah.
it's like you may want to have this every month for the rest of your life, because it's strengthening your lungs, and it maintains, yeah, it helps you to keep it clean. But if you live in nature, and so but you never cleanse, you do it until you feel it, that you're breathing well, and you feel that the lung capacity is strong and all this, and this is fine. But for the rest, everything that you're eating, if you're overeating, and you undigested food will stick to the walls, and you need to keep on maintaining this. So that's why we say, okay, we say the intestinal tract, and after that, the second stage is intestinal tract and liver, and then intestinal tract, liver, and lungs. And, so until you get to the five systems that you only maintain. Yeah, the flow is the blood and lymph, and then the kidneys and genitals. Okay, so these are all the five systems that we need to maintain constantly. Constantly, and that's the beauty of working with enzyme, because you can do it on a daily basis, and that we offer the kits. The kits are kind of a blast. It's kind of a intensive care. After that, we have just the maintenance products that you just take, on a daily basis. Like every day, I wake up, I take enzyme, and a little later during the day, I take a pill. I just chew I chew on something, another enzyme. I keep on maintaining, very relaxed. It's not like I need to wait. In the past, when I was fasting, because that was I started fasting in 1987, and I started with the hygienist method, this water fasting, very very strict, and I never stopped. And for these, I needed to retreat to do that.
Yeah.
I needed to step out and dedicate, because I was getting very weak, and I needed to relax, and I still do it because I want. But now with the enzyme, I can detox and I can detox, go to the gym, climb a mountain. I can do everything, my normal life, while detoxing right now with the enzymes.
So for a person that maybe is interested in fasting, I've done fasting too. You and I compared notes, and generally, you've done a lot more fasting, water fasting than I have. But so for a person that maybe would want to fast, or maybe has tried it and just don't like it for some reason, or they get too weak. So actually so what I say is fasting on enzymes is like supersonic water fasting. Like it's way above water fasting, because when you're water fasting, obviously and actually it's water only fasting to be more accurate. So when you're water only fasting, you're just getting the hydration. You're not getting any of the activity that the enzymes can give you. So we're a bunch of tubes. That's all we are. We're a bunch of tubes. And so the enzymes will go everywhere, and they will, like little Pac-Mans, like you say, they'll clean out everything. And so how much better is a water only fast? To add that in to that program, I don't think I would do it any other way right now. As much water fasting as I've done, I'm kind of over that, and I don't think I would fast that way anymore. I would want to use that time to get the enzymes in there and to start munching on some stuff that, just to help the autophagy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would think that that's, if you can afford it, if you can, if you understand the concepts. So for me, yeah, and that way too, you're getting a little bit of nourishment. You're getting, and the enzymes are food, fermented plants.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
100% absorbable. So it's a tool that can be used in a lot of different programs. And so you do have the kits, and you mentioned the 5. I'm familiar with 3 of them. And so
Mm-hmm.
you have the pre-made kits, which is nice because you don't have to think through it. You don't have to, the instructions come with it. You don't have to try to, like back in the day, with us trying to put together our own protocols and systems, you don't have to do that with this.
If you fasted before, there's an element of emptiness that we need to face
Yeah.
when it's a psychological barrier where we feel empty, or we have like emotional challenges throughout the cleanse, for example. And normally we have this all day long, all year round. We have these kind of thing, and then we open the fridge and we eat something. We bite on something, and then we feel that emptiness. And when we're water fasting, we don't have that. We cut this with the enzyme. It is smooth a little bit that part, because when we're facing this, we can just take a shot. Okay, and what is the power of water fasting? Because that was my number one choice before I discovered the enzyme, because the autophagy was kicking in, and then this is when the body was had to look for food, because it's not because you're fasting that your cells are fasting. Your cells cannot fast.
Yeah.
If your
Right.
cells would fast, they would die. Okay, so it's like we're fasting, but the body still needs to feed itself. The cells needs to feed itself, and this is what autophagy makes the cleansing so powerful, because it kicks in when the digestive system is empty. So the body needs to go outside the digestive system to find some food. So it will
Good way to
find
put it.
protein into cancer cells, into cysts, into it will find some fat into cholesterol in the blood vessels. It will find, it will find all what it needs outside of the digestive system. And this is what we want. We want that in a fast. So the enzymes, what they do, they actually, because this is not eating that stops autophagy, because as I mentioned, the cells need to eat. They cannot stop. So it's digesting that stop autophagy. And enzymes are 100% pre-digested, because it's for 3 years fermenting. So it doesn't stop this process. So that kind of you get the best of both worlds. I say, it's kind of you get the power of the water fasting and the ease of a juice cleanse together.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes total sense.
So this is I think this is the beauty. That's why I say this is the fine art. This is the fine art of cleansing. It is
Yeah.
completely another level, and uh, it makes it accessible to everyone, I would say, because one of the turn off for most people, for a lot of people, is the discomfort that cleansing brings about. And some people, as soon as they're out of their comfort zone, they cannot. They prefer dying. It's like, oh no, no. It's like, oh no, I'd rather die. Than being put out of the comfort zone. So using enzyme makes it accessible, makes fasting accessible to more people.
It's a better use of your time and effort, in my opinion, by adding those in there. Um, for reasons that we talked about. It's just it's food and it's already fermented. So the 3 years fermentation just blows my mind because that's a long time to ferment plants. Uh, that's just I get people that tell me they don't believe that. So why did they choose 3 years? Is there a certain reason why it's 3 years?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, in the when you ferment plants, there are different phases. The first, it turns into vinegar. The second, it turns
Okay.
into alcohol, and the third phase, it turns into enzymes. So it's just a matter that's the time it takes. There's some factories would just use accelerator. It costs us much more to do it this way, but we chose to go through a traditional method. We just choose to go through
Okay.
it. So it takes years. This is not, and even sometimes, for some reason, um, we're waiting for products, and it's like, it's been 3 years, and they at the lab, they're just looking and they say, not quite yet, not quite yet, because it's not. We don't get the numbers. We don't get the numbers, and our research and development and lab people just say, okay, it may take a few more weeks before we can deliver. You know, so that's it. It's just like, it's not like when you work with chemicals. It's the same thing. These nutritional facts. That we have. This is only possible with chemical food. So as soon as you have nutritional fact that you trust, it's not natural.
Right.
That means you can
Mm.
calculate the numbers, and it's is steady. It's like the Big Mac. It always tastes the same thing, no matter where you
Yeah.
are. So it's the same thing with enzyme. According, some people say, oh, your mycelia this time it doesn't taste the same thing. Yeah, it's possible. The supplier, the farmers, the season, you know is it's
Yeah.
different. So
People are
so that
so used to having everything uniform. They're so used to everything like tasting the same because they're eating a lot of processed stuff that the variations they don't like. They're very picky that way. And when you start to eat, get away from all of that and eat more healthily, which is more less processed, you can get a handful of grapes on the same vine, and all those grapes will taste different. They do to me. I'll be like, oh, that one's really sweet, and oh, that's got a little bit of something else, because your that palate is just so clean and so in tune to all of that. But when you're constantly eating these hyper palatable foods, I guess
yeah.
it ruins it. It just ruins everything. And then apple tastes like cardboard to you.
hmm But
Yeah.
like, can you imagine how many farmers we work with? 152 plants.
Yeah,
It's
I was
like,
going to ask you about
it
that.
doesn't it doesn't come from the same area all the time. You
Yeah,
know, it's not some. We use small farmers. We use bigger farmers. Sometimes, it comes from this area, and another time will come from this area. And the season has been more rainy, more sunny. Is like this. So yeah, it affects the flavor. It may affect the numbers too. And this is a Western thing. What is the biggest marketing? The biggest marketing will say, oh, my shilajit or my reishi has the most numbers, and this is the biggest numbers of, it's all about numbers. It's all about quantity. This is not how it works. This is not how it works. It's not about I have the most. And this is when you don't know anything, this is the only tool you have to convince people. Mine has
Uh,
more. And who told you that more is better?
yeah, that's a
You
good
know,
point. When that's the only tool. Yep, exactly.
this is of course, it's like you take just reishi or turkey tail, mushrooms, and of course they have their basic qualities, and it's always there. It's always there. So you integrate this in your life, and you will have these things. But who cares? Who cares? This is the same thing. Like the whole meat industry is based off where the proteins and proteins. Is like, what's the point? Is like, who told you that you needed that much protein? And who told you that broccoli didn't have protein? And things like that. It's all about numbers, and this is not how it works. But this is used for marketing, and
Right.
the same thing for GMO. Of course, Taiwan. This is one thing that is safe because it's forbidden. It's forbidden. No GMO. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
nothing in our product that can have GMO. But if you look at the thing is like people talk about soy, GMO soy, and they boycott the soy. You know, the whole Asia's diet is based on soy. Why
But
is
isn't it
that?
fermented soy? Isn't their diet
It doesn't
consist of
matter.
fermented?
Soy is
No.
amazing. Soy is a superstar.
Mm,
It's so good that it's been debunked and put down because it's so good. It's a blood cleanser. It's one of this plant, the soya bean, clean your blood vessels. And the marketing just hammer against soy because it's a threat to the meat industry. It's a threat
right.
to the meat industry. We never talk about the GMO broccoli, the GMO carrot, the GMO tomato. No, it's GMO
That's true.
soy. Oh my God, the devil is there.
So true.
This is a little pity, but we we it's part of our mission to to demystify these things. It's the same thing with sugar. People say, "Oh, sugar is bad. It feeds cancer." Come on. Come on. Sugar is a god plant. It's a god-given plant. It's full of minerals and all this. White sugar is bad. The refined
Right.
sugar is bad, and
Right.
it's added everywhere because it's overused, because it's addictive. And again, the industry, it's one of the three biggest lobby in the world, the sugar, and it's all white sugar, and they put it everywhere. But otherwise, cane sugar, it's a
Yeah.
medicine.
Yeah.
It's medicine.
Mm,
And this is all these things that, beyond offering enzyme, we want to bring this education, and say to the people, turn towards nature, stop being scared of nature, and be focused on these things. All these things of god-given plants have all their properties and healing properties and nutritional benefit to so that's why, and we need to write it. The FDA asked us, contain soy, what
we have
contain.
to.
It's like unbelievable. But
That's fun.
there's a lot of re-education because we all filled with marketing pitches in our mind when we're facing food. Like fat. People are scared of fat. Is like, come on, fat is like your nervous system is all the sheets of your neurons. It's all made of fat.
Yeah.
So all the neurological problems, like maybe related to fat absorption. You know,
Okay,
so
so
I think
yeah, so we can hit on that too, the absorption. So that's where the enzymes really shine, is because so we have a health crisis, and there's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of reasons on different levels, physical, mind, psyche. There's a lot of reasons for that. My whole shtick with my brand right now, LIVETRU, is holistic detoxification. I mentioned this last time. So it's looking at all of those levels and finding what doesn't serve you anymore, what's really toxifying you, let's say, getting it out of the way, clearing it out, whatever it is, whether it's emotional or physical obstruction. And that way you create a healthy void in your life, in your body, in your psyche. And then the universe can bring you the good things, or you can purposely bring in some nutrition, let's say, in your diet, and then it will land where it needs to. Then it has a place to go. And so then you're exchanging the what doesn't serve you for what does. So, with that said, with the absorption, so what I like about the Zencleanz is it touches it focuses really on that, on the first part of getting the stuff out, because the absorption is a problem. So you can be putting in all the good stuff you want and all the good supplementation you want, and if your body is too clogged up, for lack of a scientific word, then it's not really going to do it might not do anything. It's not going to get where it needs to get. And so the focus on cleansing, I think, is important because, and I work with people, I work with clients and my family and friends too, that when they first start any kind of cleansing routine, like they don't feel well. And I don't not feel well anymore. When I do, it's been a long time since I haven't felt well in doing a cleanse. So it just kind of shows that you've got to clear out the blockages. And that's where I like to have people start. Instead of, they want to know, what can I take for that? Then it's a constant redirection of, no, stop the thinking of what you can take for that and try to clear out all the blockages in your life, whether it be something mental or physical.
this is the body. Only the body heals itself. It's like we're not playing doctor here. There's two things to. The only thing we can do to heal is to help the body doing so. Okay,
Yeah.
this is the only
It
thing
heals
we can.
itself, it heals itself, but if it's blocked up, it can't. So that's where the lifting of all of that stuff is the magic,
Yeah, all
because
we can do
then
on
that's all you
on.
can do. Right.
Yeah, yeah, we can unclog it by cleaning it and feeding it, and then you give back
Right.
you give it back its old power of self-healing, its self-healing power. So yeah, this is all you can do. So the liver, once we pass the gut line and we penetrate the blood, the first filter is the liver. And the liver is a very complex organ. It's
Hmm.
very dense, and it's got a lot of ducts in it, and it's the first filter. So can you imagine all the trans fat? Everyone who's been shopping in the supermarket and eating something there, because the food that stays 3 weeks on the counter on the shelf is not food. It may
Yeah,
look
I know.
like food, may smell like food, but it's not food. It's poison. It's
Food like
chemical.
substance.
Yeah, it's food-like substances that your body will not recognize, and it will see it as a threat. Will see it as a threat, and it will do its best to filter it. Okay, so all the trans fat, everything that is on the shelf, cookies, chips, name it. Okay, that is on the shelf, it cannot be done with good oil, cannot be
Right.
done with good oil, because it would turn rancid too quickly. So yeah,
Yeah.
and so all the bad sugar, the bad fat, and plus the preservatives and all this. So the first filter it crosses is the liver. Can you imagine decades of filtering? At some point, the liver just cannot do anymore. So it allows into the open ocean, the open bloodstream, inside the bloodstream, all kinds of gunk. So that's first the cardiovascular thing, because then you have more gunk penetrating the bloodstream. So they will have start developing plaque into the bloodstream. And there's so many things that we're experiencing with our health that we could not even know that it's the liver, because you will not have liver pain. It's very difficult to feel the liver, but you will have like sleeping problem, you will have headaches, you will have skin issues, you will have
Right.
impatience in your legs, you will have cramps in the calves and joints issue, and you will never think that is because your liver is clogged. So,
Yep.
you know, and so this is so important, and you need to hammer it. It's not a hollow tube like the digestive system is.
Right.
It's a dense organ, so it takes time. There's no quick fix for that.
Yeah.
It may take dozens. You know, there's some people who've done over 50. I know a person who's done over 100 liver cleanses, you know, but, you
It's
know,
kind of disheartening though, so to know those stories, and I've read them too on your threads, and it's kind of like, well, why bother? Why start if it's going to be, take me 10 years and doing all this work and spending all these resources? Like the liver needs a lot of flushing, and it just seems like it's a never-ending task to do that. So it's a little disheartening. I got to say, like the one cleanse, this is my third one. And I saw some really big improvements from the first, second, and third. And with the liver, I could do 30 of them. And they would kind of all be a little different, I'm sure, which they are. But I haven't done 30 liver cleanses, not even the classic ones back in the day. So um, you do have to be patient, and you do have to it's a lifestyle. Do you want to heal, or do you want to take medication? So either way, it's going to take resources. Either way, even your time is a resource, right? So either way, there's going to be some quote pain involved, effort and all that. So you can make the choice, and you can just forge ahead with what seems to be the best for you and seems to be the wisest thing. Time's still going to pass. You're still going to get older, and which is the better course to take. But I would like to think that I could do 5 liver cleanses and it would be done. But that's not going to be the case. I'm going to do it my whole life.
why? Why? We're so goal oriented, you know, instead of having like when it's going to be clean, who cares?
I care. I want a clean liver, man.
Okay, and the day you will be you take a shower and you're clean, are you going to stop cleaning taking showers?
No, but
It's
that's more maintenance. That's more maintenance. I know that I've got decades of stuff to clear out.
it's all
Yeah.
it's and this is the attitude we need to approach it. This is the
Yeah, it's
attitude
true.
we need to approach it. It's like we need to integrate it. This, you know, it's not like as I say, it became cleansing became like a trend in the last 15 years. You know, it became like it took like a different curve. It just became a hype, um, and this is a good thing. But now we need to understand that we need to integrate it with our lifestyle. We say that there's four different pillars of we say that there's nutrition and cleansing. So you in and out, nutrition and cleansing, exercise and resting. These are the yin and the yang
Yeah.
of health, you know. So if you go to the gym and you pump it up and you just buffed up, all pumped up and all this, but you don't sleep at night, you don't know how to rest, you don't know how to quiet yourself, you will not be healthy. And it's the
Hmm.
same thing if you eat. Yeah, you say, "Oh, I got the whole thing. I eat perfectly, but I'm filthy inside." You will not. The end goal is not that you are perfectly clean. It's like you're vibrant and you're healthy and you're strong and you enjoy your life. And this is the goal. That I'm perfectly, this is a matter of, okay, I don't know where I am in terms of perfection, but I just know that, I was more sick in my 20s than I am in my 60s. I was like having colds and flus and
Hmm.
and skin rashes and all kinds of things in my 20s than I have now in my 60s because I'm cleaner.
It's so true, and I guess
Mm.
I was more talking about the catch up period. I understand the idea of you're always cleansing. Like people will ask me, when am I going to be done? I'm like, you're not done. Your body is detoxing every second, but I'm talking about more of like, I know that I've got a lot of catch up to do because I haven't done enough liver flushes in my life. And so that part I kind of want to be up to date, up to par, is how I want
Yeah.
it in a perfect world,
Mhm.
but so there's a lot of catch up that has to be done.
You start cleansing your organs and you start taking care, and then suddenly, oh, you realize, oh, I don't have migraines anymore. Oh,
Right.
I don't have tendinitis anymore. Oh,
Yeah.
I can digest this food that I could not before anymore. Huh? I can, so this is how we start realizing that we're walking back in time and we're
Yeah,
just
it's
recovering our ability, for self healing. These are the main point. Yeah, am I clean or not? What's important is like I feel good. I feel my function, and I'm not suffering, and I'm more like on the enjoyable side of life than on the struggling with discomforts, right?
It's
So.
so true to feel when you've done a lot of these, use a lot of these tools. Um, I just came off of a couple months of an absolutely such a busy schedule. I didn't know how I was going to get through it. I just had so much on my plate and so much to do that I was not sleeping like I wanted to and needed to. And even just my days were so full that I finally got to a point where my central nervous system, I could tell, was fried. But I'll tell you what, and I'm in my 50s. I did never got a sniffle. I never got a headache. I never felt physically sick in any way. I was tired, you know. I just what my first symptom was I've got to have some time to myself. My CNS is just it's I'm buzzing. My lifestyle
Mhm.
is all about how do I maintain my health and how to not just maintain it, but how do I get healthier, as I'm getting older.
Yeah.
So it is lifestyle. And that's what I teach people. I totally get that. People will come to me with a laundry list of symptoms, and I I don't focus on that. I address it, and you can use certain tools for that. Certain tools for situations where you got to manage whatever. But no, let's get your lifestyle in order. Clean out the stuff that you don't that's not serving you, and what's going to nourish you. And like you just said, all of a sudden, oh, my migraines are gone, or my sister loses 30 pounds in 3 months, by
Mm.
doing liver flushes and and clean up her diet a little bit, but no calorie restriction, effortlessly for the most part. So I mean that it once you know how the body works, and it's such a tragedy that it's we've they people have been indoctrinated on purpose to reach for drugs, and the whole allopathic system has taken over, and they have no idea how their body works.
Hmm. The traditional Chinese medicine system is old. It's an old system, and at that time, healthcare was not a business. It was not a business. It was really
Right.
about keeping people alive, keeping people alive in this hard world, and so they said it the way there was no like competition like between the allopathic medicine and the natural medicine. It was a functional thing. So the first task, first they were classifying it in three categories: upper medicine, middle medicine, and lower medicine. The upper medicine was all about lifestyle. So the task of the doctor was to teach people, inform people what was the good lifestyle. If you check
Mm,
the Chinese, and it's still very active nowadays, they will eat things in the winter, things in the summer to cool the body. They will have all kinds of food and exercises in order to self balance. They know what to do in terms of lifestyle to manage most of it. And then when something goes wrong, they go see the traditional Chinese medicine doctor who use natural methods. Natural method, he will use diet, he will use acupuncture, he will use massage, he will suggest some exercises, he will suggest like some stress management thing. Okay, and this is the middle medicine. And the
ah,
lower medicine is like if you are in extreme pain and if you are threatened, if your life is threatened, then
emergency.
okay, surgery and chemicals.
Mhm.
Nowadays, we've got people, and this lower medicine is not about bringing people back to health. It's not about that. It's
Right.
about saving lives, and it's meant to be temporary, very short term.
Yep.
Okay, very short term, so it can be taken over by the natural medicine, by the food and all this, and lifestyle to bring back. So people say, "Out! I don't need you anymore. You're free to fly by yourself again." Okay, we send that back. It's not about stay with me. I make money out of you, and this is what we got stuck in the allopathic medicine system. They will never tell you what to do to be healthy, and they will, even on the contrary, they will debunk, they will try to lower and ridicule the natural means that could bring you back to health. So it keeps you into this circle. You're not dying, but you're not getting healthy. Okay, and it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but in the fact, when you understand, you can see clearly that that's what it is, because it's not possible that in 2023 that the highest authority of health doesn't know that. This is not possible. This is not
No.
possible. It's like you just don't want to see that, or you don't want it to be at the 5 o'clock news.
So the allopathic model, the allopathic doctors, which is your MDs, in case anyone is listening that doesn't understand what I mean by allopathic, is acute care. That's what you just described, your emergencies, and it's temporary. It's acute. It means something's happening right now that is temporary in nature, and you need help to get through it. What they've overstepped, they've got out of their lane, is they're now trying to treat chronic conditions, which is probably brought on by stuff that they're uh, doing to them, but chronic conditions that they're not trained to do that at all. They're
Mm-hmm.
not a chronic care; they're acute care. And so somebody comes in with, oftentimes it's a chronic issue, and they're treating it as if it's an acute situation, and it's not, and it's lifestyle related more than likely, or could be thought patterns and emotions, and German new medicine, we'll talk about that, uh, triggers and traumas, and so that's what, if the basic person, the average person, could understand just that much, then they would see the allopathic, see their doctors, the family doctors, in their mind, they would see them differently. They're going to them with the wrong, it's like going to a plumber, I don't know, for something wrong with your car. They're not trained in that.
Mm.
You want you want to
No.
get information and wisdom from like Chinese TCM, and those that are, how do you get healthier, you know
Yeah. I have an example like very close to me. My mom, for example, my mom at the age of 37 something happened, and she got diagnosed with high blood pressure at 37. She was young, and she got medicated. She's 85 now. When she got vaccinated, um, a couple of years back in 21, she got a blood clot in the right leg, and her leg just got swollen. And so I sent her like a box of mycelia, and immediately her leg, reduced, and she was like back to normal. But she was so impressed by that she kept taking it. I sent her 9 bottles. I sent her nine
Hmm.
bottles, and when she ran out, she said, "Hey, I'm running out," and I was sending her more. So she was 2 years later. 2 years later, I have a call with her, and she said, "You know what happened this week?" She said, "I was in the kitchen, and I got suddenly got dizzy and got drenched in sweat, and I sat on the floor, so I don't hurt myself falling. And then where she lives, there's the nursery at the in the building, and she asked the nurse. She pressed the button. The nurse came, and she took her blood pressure, and her blood pressure was low. So as soon as she could make a phone call, she called her physician, and the physician say, uh, "Take your blood pressure, but if you if your pressure is low or normal, don't take the high blood pressure pills, right? Because that will be dangerous."
Right.
So she started to do that because she has like a blood pressure machine at home, and every day she didn't need anymore. And she still doesn't need.
Oh,
She doesn't have high blood pressure anymore,
okay.
and she's
So the
been for
mycelia,
48 years on medication, and after 2 years on just one thing that she got excited about, one liquid enzyme, she got, just what happened. I don't know exactly what happened. We were not shooting for this. It was just something that happened without knowing. And she said, "I can't see what else it could be. It's like there's nothing
right?
else in me that changed except of this."
Yeah. Cleaning out the so mycelia is specifically for the blood. Is that it?
Inflammation is a blood
Inflammation.
cleanser. Is a blood clot.
Okay.
It dissolves blood clot. Is There's 15 kinds of mushrooms in it with
Okay.
reishi and other on top. So it's
I haven't taken that one yet.
polysaccharides. Is
Okay. Yep.
mhm,
Mushroom sugars.
mhm.
Interesting. Wow, that's huge. That's a really great testimonial just from one product. The pressure in the veins builds up because it's trying to get through. It's thick. The blood is thick. And
Influencing those 2 years, without knowing. She felt just so safe with it. She's like this, she's like, "Oh my god," she never stopped. And it was religious, she was
yeah,
taking twice a day our little shot, and she was just happy like this.
one thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's so
suddenly
cute.
more high blood pressure. How is that possible 48 years later? So that
Yeah.
means, like, probably like 6 months later, if she would have been her issue would have been addressed when she was 37 by a
Yep.
natural healthcare professional, she would have probably been normal, and she would not have developed atherosclerosis,
Yeah.
because that's what happened. Now she's 85, and she's got an artery here that is blocked like at 90%, and is they threatening her life every day, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's like this could if we would address the cause, and we would first if we would stop poisoning ourselves. That's what I say. People, what should what is the first thing to do to get back to health? I say stop poisoning yourself
Yeah.
first.
Stop putting it
Okay.
in. Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
sometimes that takes working with somebody for months to get them to understand where all of the causes are coming from. It they don't understand how they're assaulting their body on a daily
No, it's
basis.
like
And
if I have a river crossing my land, okay, I can be there cleaning my part of the river on my land, but at some point I need to go see the guy who runs the factory upstream to tell him, please stop throwing garbage in the
yeah,
water.
right.
Yeah. So it's the same thing
Uh,
for us. It's like if we cleanse, but at the
yeah,
same time we never stop injecting in our system poisons, it's like we will never get there. We're exhaust ourselves. We're just, you know uh, injecting more and more toxins in our system, and we cleanse. That's a good part, that we take this habit, but at some point we need to have a look at what we inject into our system, and this is
yeah,
very important part. So stop poisoning yourself. Stop
yeah,
poisoning yourself. Just read the labels, not the front. Because right now, I had a client like this. It's like he came. He was a 146 kilos. He was a big guy coming to detox, and he lost like in a month 26 kilos. So he ended up like he still was still a big guy when he left, but he was really different. And then he went back home with all excited about changing, and he would not do this, he would not do that, he would not do that. The next year he comes again back to 146. I say, what happened? The guy say, I don't know. It's like, I've been taking care. I don't eat this anymore. He's a French, he was not eating bread anymore. It was not, and I take everything natural. And it's like, he said, the only thing I do is like I eat a chocolate bar a day, but it's black chocolate. It's dark chocolate is like 80% something. I say, okay, it doesn't look so bad. But I have a questionnaire, 32 pages, where I ask the brands, what do you eat? What do you eat? What kind of yogurt you eat, and what kind of cereal you eat, what kind of juice you drink, and all this. And 32 pages. Yeah, give me back 2 days later, all filled up. And I start looking at this, and I go online and I check every single thing he was eating. And I just showed him the amount of sugar he was eating daily without him even knowing. And he
yeah. That's
thought it was like he had cut all the sugar because it was
yeah,
written natural on the front, but it was
yeah,
all still
yeah.
filled with sugar.
You can't eat stuff based on the front of a package. I mean, the first thing I don't even. Somebody was showing me today. I have a group call, and they were telling me what's on the front of something, and we were on a virtual call, and I said, I don't care about that. That's all marketing. Tell me what's in the back. I want to see the back
Yeah.
of it. It's
Mhm.
it's pointless to even trust what's on the front. They're trying to sell a product. People have to be dedicated to educating themselves. They just want to be told what to do. They just want to take the easy way. They want things to be done for them because that's how we've been kind of corralled. And it's just, guys, you gotta put your big boy and big girl pants on and take responsibility for yourself. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's
Mhm.
coming.
So true.
There is no one coming. You have to do it yourself. You have to be a man or a woman, stand up and be that, and find out who you are and clear out your stuff. Nobody's going to clear out your stuff. You got to clear out your stuff. This is, now I'm talking on a level that's, more emotional in mind, psyche. You got to do the work. So
Yeah.
when somebody comes to me, I'll know right away, that they're lazy that way. They just, you know, they want the help physically, and they're not even willing to cook for themselves. It's just like, I can't help you. I can
It's
I can
true.
teach you stuff, but I
Yeah.
can't. I'm not going to tell you what to take. It doesn't work that way.
There's unconscious mechanic happening also behind people's mind, because sometimes even when they know that
Sure.
it will not work,
Yeah.
just because it's easier, it's more convenient, it's cheaper or whatever, they will still go for this. I think it satisfies a part of themselves, like the guilt part. They're pushing away the guilt part, and even if they know, it's kind of mysterious, because I think it must satisfy a part of their psyche that just say, I do it.
It's going to
I
work
don't
this.
feel guilty. I do it. But I tell you, it's like it doesn't work. It
Yeah.
does, like I've been talking, since I started with the enzyme, I've been talking with a lot of retreat leaders, and I say, it's like, why you just, because they were my students before, and I say, that juice cleanse, doesn't work. Juice cleanse, short term juice cleanse. It's like, I don't even call this a cleanse. I call this like a holiday. It's a
Yeah.
resting period.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't cleanse
Yeah.
anything in a week or two. I mean, if you just stick 6 months on juices on thing, okay, it may just lead you somewhere, but otherwise, but they say, if I tell people, come and we will do like a water fast, or it's like people will not come. So they make
No.
like this this business, this business kind of compromise for something that doesn't work. But people feel good. It's true. Just spend a week on juice only. You will feel relaxed. You will feel
Mhm.
rested. You will feel your
Mhm.
digestive system. But I mean, in terms of cleansing, doesn't do much. Doesn't
Yeah.
do
I think
much.
it's self-deception. So I think people are um, just deceiving themselves. And it's kind of like somebody going to the gym and they're going through the motions, but they're not really giving it their all. They're not really doing the set, the whole way. They're not squatting all the way down, or they're not really, you're just cheating yourself. But people want to believe a certain thing, and yeah, thoughts become things, and beliefs are important, and all of that. But this the self-deception that people do, and they just run in circles. I guess it's just kind of a momentary thing. Oh no, I'll do this and I'll feel good about myself. I'll feel like I'm doing the right thing, and I'm doing it's going to work, and just keep doing that.
Hmm.
You got to
Yeah.
face yourself. Nope, you're going to have to do this other thing, and it's going to be hard. And yep, emotions are going to come up, and
Hmm.
it's going to be uncomfortable. Just start to be
Hmm.
comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know,
Even if we say enzyme, is the easy ways. It's still, you're still moving toxins. Yeah. So it's not a mojito on the beach. It's like, yeah, it's kind of still moving
yeah,
toxins, and it may feel uncomfortable, but actually we're not doing this for the pleasure of the process itself. We can say for the interesting part of the process, because this, for me, cleansing and what I discover, what I feel, and all I get in touch with, I think it's interesting. I like it. Some people may not like it, but actually, for them, I would say you don't do it for that. You do it for after.
the
When
end.
you will eat later, it is in a week or 2 weeks.
Still
Don't
going to be
worry.
there.
Food
I
is
know.
waiting for you. Food is waiting for you, but you will have, like, you all the things that you are suffering right now may be less. And if you
Yeah,
keep going, it may be no more. So this is the purpose, because people say, okay, it's like, what happened? What is normal nowadays? Is like, people say, yeah, but modern science brought the life expectancy like 20 years older. Yeah, but not, it did not increase the healthy. It's not like you're 20, for those 20 years, you're just sick for 20 years.
yeah. There's a
And
term
this is,
for that. Your health span, I think they're saying now, like lifespan and your health span. You know,
yeah,
nobody wants a long lifespan when their health span's this much. You know, you want a
ex-
health span,
mhm.
right?
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. So it's like people get sick. Like the seven leading cause of death are all lifestyle related.
They are. I know.
Cardiovascular disease,
Yep.
cancer, respiratory disease, digestive disease, neurological issues, and diabetes, all lifestyle related.
Yeah.
So you die from it. That means like for 20 years before you've been sick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want
Work.
quality in everything. You know, I don't need to stay here very long. I want quality out of it. That's my main goal. People are
Hmm.
trying to, just live longer, and they're miserable for the second half of their whole life, and I cannot walk that road. It's not I don't want to live like that, you know?
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
can't do it. So I do everything
That's
I can. Hmm?
That's how I got into on this path. I'm a fine art graduate, actually. I a filmmaker and at
Mhm.
the and a long distance swimmer. At the age of 25, I had tendinitis and a back pain, and that's what put me
Mhm.
on this journey. And we're talking about like almost like 40 years later. I don't have this back pain anymore. I
Mhm.
should be I should be in a wheelchair if normally, something it should have got worse for in 40 years, but it's the opposite that happened. But I learned a lot about myself as like I was just born into in America, I'm Canadian, but it's like it was like in the 60s, it was the coming of the processed food, and that was like very convenient for the mothers, and we didn't know the downside of it. So
Yeah.
I just grew up on this.
Me
I just
too.
grew up on it. So when I was like 25 years, that was like already 20 years that I was eating junk all day long. So it was very toxic, and my body started talking. It was not like it was not like the universe wanted to kill me. It was like my body telling me that I had to do something. I didn't
Mhm.
know that. I had no knowledge, but and then I signed up into Chinese medicine, and I started to understand that actually we were part of an ecosystem and that we were
Yep.
supported by nature. But what we needed to do was to align with nature, and then the disease, the discomfort were, you know, disappearing.
Um, it's a journey to learn how to do that because we have to unlearn, but the body heals itself. You know, that's hands down
Yes,
what it is. And then you have the other end of the spectrum where everyone thinks it's all psyche and all emotional. You know, okay, a lot of it is okay, but we're in this physical body now, and we have all those other things going on, those connections. This is part of the process. This is, if your physical body is not receptive to those higher levels.
it's true. It's like like the there's this kind of brainwash we've been conditioned to accept, is that we live in a hostile universe. Is like the life want to kill me, the universe wants to kill me. So every symptom, every fever, every pimple, every discomfort is like life want to kill me, the universe, and I need to fight it. Yeah, we're such
Mhm.
in a war zone on every aspect. It's like it's war, war, war on this, war on that. It's all we have: war on cancer, war on diabetes, war on this. As
Mhm.
if it's like that like life wanted to kill me. It's completely twisted, because we are the sprouts of the planet. We are part of this ecosystem. Everything that happens in life is a call that wants to bring us back to balance. So what we have as symptoms is not something that wants to kill me. Is someone wants to inform me, wants to
Right.
inform me, signal, give me signal that, oh, you need to realign there, don't go there, just don't have this. And we need to listen to what comes up, because it speaks to our psyche, it speaks to our emotions, it speaks to to holistically. This is what how the universe and the planet talks to us. So it's like we live the, like, what is the normality is health.
Right.
Nowadays,
Right.
nowadays we've been told that normality is to get sick. This
Mm-hmm.
is normal. You get old and you get sick, and this is normal. No, this is a scam. This is a big lie. This is not how it's supposed to be. We are supported. If you look at, you animals, you don't see animals with
Mm-hmm.
high blood pressure and diabetes and all these kind of things. They live their life, and one day they just, like, they have a day or two. This they drop and they die,
Unless they're
and
domesticated. And if they're
unless
domesticated
yeah,
and they're eating crappy food, yeah, then they have high blood pressure and our medications and all that stuff. But I
yes,
like what you said there about the language of the body, because symptoms, that's what they are. Instead of saying, "Oh, what's wrong?" How else is your body going to talk to you? We use language, animals have their own language, and our bodies have a language, and that's how they're communicating with us. And so if we learn
mm,
to learn what that communication is, and these certain patterns that you can look at, then you can look at it that way. Like you said, the body's just kind of saying, hey, over here, I need some attention over here. And it's trying to always reach homeostasis, but it needs your cooperation. It can't just do it all by itself. You're going to be blocking that process. So,
yes, hmm, yes. We just, yeah, and we need to realign always, and have some parameters. Those four pillars. So when something is not doing well, you check: do I exercise well? Do I rest well? Do I feed well? Do I cleanse well? So when we just look at those four little pillars like that, to start with, we can get a lot of things back in alignment, very simply. It's not complicated. It's not complicated to be healthy.
I
So,
like that.
for
I'm
example,
actually going to use that moving forward. I like that. Those four, it's easy for people to remember,
yeah.
to check in with themselves on those four things. I
Mhm.
think that's excellent. Yeah.
Well, I like to add the fifth one, and it's the
Okay.
reconnection with ourselves, where we can start trusting our insights again. Say,
Agreed.
okay, to get guidance. Otherwise, oftentimes we get into dogmas, in terms of diet. We get into dogmas
Yeah.
on this. Yeah, we get into hypes and things. It's the same thing for exercises or whatever. You need to align with what is for you, what you like, what you enjoy doing. You need to reconnect with yourself and start loving yourself again and trusting this inner wisdom. So, and this comes naturally through detoxing also, because your pure self, your pure being, your clear minded being is all there, untouched, behind the gunk that we've accumulated, body, mind, spirit gunk that we've buried, our pure self that is still there, untouched, behind. So I add this fifth one, that to reconnect with this. Otherwise, we follow gurus. The coaches are important for guidance, but not for dictatorial
Hmm.
uh, purposes. Huh?
Yeah.
For guidance, to
Mhm.
look in that direction, dude. Explore that. Yeah. What about this? We're already in control, and we manifest the thing. So once we become more conscious of this, we become more responsible, which is the first condition to get back to health and happiness, to be responsible and change and readjust our behaviors and our thoughts and our emotion, so
Yeah.
we can feed physically, feed emotionally, and feed mentally with good food.
Yeah, self-responsibility for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for your
Yes.
time today. I really appreciate it. I like how we ended it with the four pillars because I think that, I like to end a discussion with, okay, so what's the way forward? And I think that's an easy way for people to remember how to check in with themselves. And four easy things that can remember how am I doing today on that? And if I'm not feeling well, which one of those things is out of balance? And what can I do better on? And we're always all going to be doing that. Oh, I didn't get enough sleep lately. That's probably why I'm feeling fatigued or, yeah. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
Easy checklist.